So everyone was waiting for the main Sunday service to start, right? All the deacons were already inside, and the choir had finished their warm-up. But Pastor Manguni wasn't there. People thought maybe traffic or he went to the toilet. But then we heard this soft knocking from inside the baptism pool room. That little room is always locked unless there's a baptism. One usher went to check, and she came back looking so confused. She said, "Guys, the pastor is inside." But the door was locked from the inside, and he wasn't answering properly. He just kept saying, "Give me a minute." For 45 minutes. Now people were restless. Some older women were praying softly, but the youth group was already making jokes like, "What if he's been taken by the Spirit too hard?" But it felt weird. Something was off. One deacon told us the pastor arrived 2 hours earlier, so why hide now? Then someone said maybe he saw something in the Spirit and is trying to fight it off. The other deacon said it sounds more like panic, not prayer. So eventually security had to come and remove the side panel of the pool wall to check inside. The real shock was, there was a woman in there with him. Aish. They were sitting on the floor, fully clothed, faces red like they'd been crying or arguing. She was the assistant from the children's church. Married woman? Yo. Turns out they weren't doing anything wild at that moment. But the congregation couldn't stop the gossip. He had called her in early to discuss a calling, and they ended up locking themselves inside because her husband had dropped her off and walked into the foyer for a moment. The husband must have suspected something, so instead of going home, he waited around. But here's what nobody saw coming. That husband was the head of church security. That's why the pastor stayed locked in. He literally heard the guy's voice near the door and panicked. He thought if he comes out while the guy is still around, there'll be a whole scene. The moment they were walked out, shame, half the aunties turned their faces. Some youth were already on WhatsApp updating the entire Sunday school. One uncle from the men's fellowship said, loud, "Next time, fast inside your own office." People stayed for the sermon, yes, but you could feel the silence hanging in the air, like everyone was waiting for someone to explain something. Since then, the pool stays locked, not even for baptisms.